Good morning, 5th and 6th graders. Let's continue our discussion of the continent of Australia, the land down under. As a quick review, we talked a little yesterday about how Australia is home to many evergreens, as well as this tree. You remember the name of this tree? It is the gum tree or the eucalyptus tree. From this tree they can get oil, of course timber, and gum. And the koala, one of the marsupials from Australia, feeds off the eucalyptus leaves. We also talked about the acacia tree, known for its production of beautiful wood and fine furniture. Remember the hardy plant that grows in the outback called the saltbush shrub? And it is something that sheep can feast on during times of drought and solely survive on. We talked about different marsupials yesterday, such as the kangaroo, the koala bear, the wallaby, and the wombat. And remember, these are marsupials, and those marsupials carry their young in a pouch. And then unusual creature, the duck-billed platypus, can also be found in Australia. The original inhabitants of Australia were the Aborigines, and the Aborigines lived there until the Europeans came and joined in with the settlement of Australia. Australia is a part of what we call the Commonwealth of Nations. This is about 52 nations that join together. Their symbolic head is the Queen of England. You'll notice here you've got Canada. Of course, you've got Great Britain. There are some countries in Africa, India, and then Australia. There's New Zealand, there's Tanzania. Over here we have a few other islands as well. So as I just mentioned, the Queen of England is the symbolic head, but each nation has its own government. So let's talk about Australia a bit more. It is divided into 6 states and 2 mainland territories. Remember, its land size is equivalent to the size of the United States. Its capital is Canberra. Australia has a republican form of government. Every Australian citizen 18 years and older is required to vote in their elections. Over half of the Australian people live along the sea near a seaport. What is a seaport? That is a town that has a port or harbor where ships can safely anchor. These towns are also industrial centers where manufacturing takes place. This is a picture excuse me, of a ranch or station in Australia's outback. This is the Australian dog fence. It's about 6 feet high and runs for about 3,000 miles long. The purpose of this fence is to keep the wild dogs or dingoes away from sheep, which sheep is one of their leading ways that they make their income in Australia because they harvest the wool from the sheep. So it's very important that they are protected. The Australian dog fence has to be maintained because there are constantly animals trying to break through. In addition to the dingoes, our book mentions kangaroos, and I believe it was emus, and it said they're constantly trying to find an opening to get out of that fenced area, and sometimes they just give up and smash right into it. So I thought that's interesting. 3,000-mile long dog fence. As I mentioned a moment ago, Australia produces the world's largest amounts of wool. Their sheep are called woolly backs, and so they can harvest quite a bit of wool from those. They also have a special type of sheep that was imported originally from Spain called the merino sheep that produces a very soft type of fabric. That image is a little hard to see, not the best choice, I guess, but that's just a huge machine that they have working out in their fields because Australia is also known as a world leading producer of wheat as well. So this tells you a little bit about their government, the country life and the city life, their importance of how they make their money. And then next week on Monday, because you don't have a lesson tomorrow in history, Next week, we'll get into Oceania and the islands of the Pacific. Read your work today and get everything accomplished, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.